hearing, but today I was able to express to this committee all of the hard work that I've done since I've been mayor to drive violent crime down in the city of Chicago. This year we're headed in the right direction again already. 20%, over 20% of violent crime is down in the city of Chicago. That's the result of a comprehensive approach towards community safety, investing in our young people, 45% increase in summer youth employment jobs. We'll continue to do that. We're building more homes so that people can afford to live in the city of Chicago. As you all know, I've reopened 3 mental health clinics. We've expanded the CARE program, and we've invested in technology, hired 200 detectives as I promised, and our clearance rate continues to go up as well. A better, stronger, safer Chicago is possible because we're doing everything that I promised that I would do as mayor of the city of Chicago to invest in people, and that's why we're seeing the public safety results that we're seeing. Crime continues to go down. There's a lot more work for us to do, but we are headed in the right direction.
Right, so Mayor Johnston, if I may,
please, of course.
Notwithstanding what you said, this is about the city sanctuary, city status. And just a few moments ago, the chairman came out, and even though there weren't the fireworks that we might have expected, he does say federal funding is at risk if the mayors continue to obstruct. So you still have a problem here, don't you?
This is about safety, right? This is what they brought up.
This is about cutting federal funding.
Well, that is, but respectfully, that is safety. If you cut services from people, that does affect community safety. What we've asked this body to do is to join in the work that I'm doing in the city of Chicago.
They're not going to do it.
Are you going to give me a chance to finish my response, though? Okay. All right. It's okay. What I've said was that it's incumbent upon this body to support the efforts that I have put forth in the city of Chicago to drive violence down. Now, look, we have representation that's here in Washington. We're going to continue to make sure that our representation shows up for the people of Chicago. Here's my last point. The residents of Chicago, we send billions of tax dollars to Washington, D.C. It's incumbent upon D.C. to actually pay the residents of the city of Chicago their fair share. Go ahead, Greg.
As you said, Representative Luda said that she is going to refer this matter and you mayors to the feds for investigation. What are your concerns, if any, about the possibility of charges being brought against you and the other mayors?
Well, I mean, if that happens, our legal team, our corporate counsel will review those documents and proceed accordingly. But again, our focus is making sure that the people of Chicago are safe. Marianne?
It seemed as if at times there were personal attacks. Overall, you didn't lose your cool. Do you feel as if you walk out of here as like, okay, I came what I was expected to do?
Well, as I said, thank you for the question. I'm always going to be who I am. The people of Chicago elected a husband, a father, a middle school teacher, someone who comes out of the working class to represent our values. And, I'm not going to shy or cower simply because people don't believe in investing in young people, investing in mental health, investing in housing, driving violent crime down in the city of Chicago. So I promised that I would come here and represent working people, and that's exactly what I did.
Mayor, how do you feel you did, and how did you prepare?
Well, look, it's a lot easier to speak to the values of our city when you believe in them, right? And so, I will say this. Being a middle school teacher in the Chicago Public Schools certainly prepares you for this committee.
Mayor, did you learn anything new from your experience today, this hearing?
Well, I mean, look, there are a lot of people in this country who want Washington to actually invest in people. To hear congressional leaders from all over the country express a desire to invest in the people of this country, that was encouraging to hear. I mean, it's what I've been doing as mayor, and I'll continue to do that.
You seem to receive some of the most personal attacks out of any other of the mayors sitting there. Why do you think that is, and was it not tempting to kind of respond to those directly head on?
Well, look, I represent the greatest freaking city in the world. I mean, the city of Chicago is beautiful, and I wake up every single day working hard to make sure that people of Chicago are safe. And we have a lot of work to do. No one's going to disagree with that. But we are headed in the right direction. Violent crime continues to go down. You know, I don't take this stuff personal. I was elected to represent the people of Chicago, and that's what I do.
Mayor Johnston, last month President Trump said that him and his administration are looking into deporting American citizens who commit crimes to foreign prisons in places like El Salvador. What is your message to Black Chicagoans who are concerned that Trump's immigration policies may be a slippery slope for Black Americans?
Well, it's one thing for sure that Black folks in Chicago certainly understand why we have to have constitutional policing and real oversight over policing. You know, I've referenced James Montgomery, the first Black corporate counsel, and he was the one that recommended to the first Black mayor of Chicago why we cannot allow local law enforcement to deviate from local responsibilities. Anytime you have law enforcement that's running amok, we have seen over the course of decades of how that type of lack of trust and lack of accountability has harmed Black people. That's why I'm proud that the first Black mayor and the first Black corporate counsel, now me as a Black man, the first Black woman corporate counsel, we ride in that history of understanding why Black folks have to have leadership that puts checks and balances within law enforcement, because without that, we have certainly seen the detrimental harm that causes to our people.
Are you that 1%? Why couldn't you put a specific number on that? And is that just asylum seekers? Are they conflating undocumented residents?
Well, that's a good question. That's why I was very specific about those who are seeking asylum, right? Because unfortunately, there was a lack of understanding by the Republican Party around what we experience as a city of Chicago. And it wasn't so much I wasn't willing to give the specific number. What I was working to point out is that the state of Texas spent roughly $221 million to bus migrants, asylum seekers across this country, which essentially was 1% of their overall budget. Now, over the last 3 years, the city of Chicago has spent, less than $300 million. We have spent 20 times the amount with new investments on Black Chicago. Here's what I hope that comes out of this. I need you all's help to engage and inform Black Chicago in particular of all the investments that I've made. It's so critical for the people who have been disinvested in for decades to not know that we have spent 20 times the amount with new investments just for West and Southsiders, building homes, hiring young people, making sure that we're providing behavioral mental health services and driving crime down. Remember, when I ran for office, many folks believed that my vision for Chicago would make it less safe. Well, we have proven the people who did not believe in leadership like mine, we've proven them wrong. Not only is crime down, but investments are up. Thank you all very much.